Oh my gosh,
that was
Pete.
fun. That was fun. That was fun.
This is what happens when, welcome back to Andertons, by the way.
Yeah, please like and subscribe.
When right at the beginning I say to Pete, we say, Pete, we can't play dad rock, yacht rock, or blues rock.
Dad blues.
And then it's like, well, what other rock is there? It's like, oh no. And then we listen to Apple Music to find like what all the young guys are listening to, and then that's what happens. So I apologize.
You say young guys, it could be old guys that listen to the same music. We can't just try and play it.
Well,
that's the problem.
Now, if you subscribe to Andertons TV, hit that notification bell and all that kind of stuff. If you do, you'll notice that in your sort of, YouTube inbox, whatever that is, periodically, quite regularly actually, we'll be messaging you saying, what videos would you like us to make?
Yeah.
Predominantly kind of trying to nail down product comparisons that you'd like that might help you choose a new guitar or a pedal or an amp. The most recent one of those was, we used the word contemporary. I'm not sure I like that word. I'm not sure if it's terribly descriptive. But the idea being, we're not talking about now Strats, Tellys, Les Pauls. We're not talking about traditional classic
authentic
guitars. We're talking about things that are either completely different or a spin on that, a more contemporary spin on that.
Naughty spin.
We put a price cap on it of £500. So you had a big selection of guitars that were essentially non-classic, under £500. What might you buy?
Was it 550?
Was it 550? Okay, so then you voted, and there was like, I get it, like hundreds of guitars got voted for, but the 6 most voted for guitars in that sort of product description were these 6.
Yeah, that's an eclectic collection of
it is eclectic.
Colours and just things. I mean, look at this. This stands out like.
Well, so let's start. So Pete is holding the LTD EC-256. Is it?
Yeah, it's full
256.
Yeah, full of funny numbers.
The Eclipse series from ESP and LTD is probably the most popular kind of contemporary take on a Les Paul. So it obviously, of the guitars we've got here, again, it's a spin on a classic rather than a completely original thing. But anyway, so that's the EC-256, and we'll talk about the features of that in a minute.
Yeah.
We've got the Revstar, not standard, what do you call it?
This is the Essential.
Essential.
Yeah.
Really popular, one of the most popular new guitar ranges of 2022. Crazy colour one.
Is this the most affordable one as well, I think, of the lot? It's like 300.
Is it? Well, we'll talk about
we'll dive
so
into
that
it.
probably is fair to say that it's maybe the most unique body shape out of all of these things.
It's got a stripe down the middle there as well.
That looks really cool.
Yeah,
Anyways, we'll talk about that in a minute. The Squier Jaguar, but again, the sort of contemporary version of a Jaguar. So different pickups, different bridge, different heel joint and everything to what a Jaguar would normally have.
Yeah.
So that's that one. We'll talk about that in a minute.
I can't wait for that one.
The Epiphone SG
one.
Modern. Is it a Modern? Is this one called the Model? I'm not... If anything, I would say this is probably the closest to a classic derivative. But we'll talk about why that's a little different to an SG.
And then my favourite headstock.
Oh, isn't that cool? Starcaster, the contemporary series Squier Starcaster. So again, active pickups. The Starcaster was a semi-hollow shape from the 70s, I think, that Fender did, late 60s, 70s. Never really caught on back then. Probably one of my favourite guitar riffs of all time the guitar player used, with the guy from the Meters, like really funky. You might even have a little clip of that now. But yeah, this is like a contemporary twist on that sort of body shape.
I don't think they're...
Like Pete said, what a groovy headstock.
Yeah, with the collar in there. Yeah,
active
pickups. Wow.
And then finally, another twist on a classic. So Chapman ML3 standard. And again, this is obviously a sort of a contemporary take on a Telecaster style guitar. So we've got a P90 at the neck, scooped kind of cutaway, slightly different contour, reverse headstock, all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure if the intention in this video here is to pick a winner as such. I think it's more just here's what you get.
It's an overall, what can you get,
I quite like this. So, again, I suspect at some point or other in every guitar player's life, you'll own a regular Strat, a regular Telly,
maybe
a Les Paul style guitar.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe what other flavors are there, right?
Lots of flavors.
We've got.
I mean, this is just a small selection.
You've got vanilla ice cream, you've got strawberry ice cream, you've got chocolate ice cream. Okay, you could. They're the staples.
Yeah.
I get that. But you've also got, you know, maybe you want tutti frutti or pistachio or like maybe you want bubblegum flavor. I don't know. This is essentially the shootout
Malted
that we're doing.
Honeycomb.
You want to start? I tell you what, I will revert to my standard role in these videos
as
looker-upper of technical information. So, Pete, take us through some tones on that guitar whilst I look up what it is.
Nice mellow
Classic
kind
tone.
of tone,
You only get that sound out of that style of guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
2 humbuckers, kind of, you know, fatness.
And I've got a split as well, so I can... So splits both pickups, or when you're in position there. I think we need some gain, don't we?
Probably.
So... Need more gain. It's got that big... Yeah, man, it's you know, I have to go straight out gate say it's not my cup of tea because I just, you know, but it's a great guitar for the money, and I can imagine.
You know, it's certainly, typically speaking, not exclusively, but I would say typically the kind of guitar players you're seeing playing ESP and LTD guitars are going to be metal genre players.
Yeah.
Not exclusively, but typically.
Yeah.
It's like Metallica, you know, James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett would be 2 of the most well-known
Hence me
ESP
trying to sneak
artists. Yeah, so that's this guitar. Anyway, it's called a set neck construction, so that's where the guitar is essentially glued into the body.
Yeah.
It's a 24 3/4 inch scale length, so it's a little shorter than something like a Strat or a Tele, which makes bending the strings feel a little easier.
Shorter than an Arctic Glory as well.
Shorter than what?
Shorter than Arctic Glory.
Absolutely.
It's shorter than a house.
Mahogany body, mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard.
Oh, is it?
350mm radius, which is pretty traditional
like 14,
actually for that sort of
like
style of guitar.
Yeah.
Thin U neck, so definitely it's like a thinner, sort of faster feeling neck than a Gibson. Traditional Gibson anyway. 22 extra jumbo frets. Their own, on this particular model, their own designed pickups, so called the LH150 B. Passive guitar with the pushy-pulley thing as well.
Yeah.
So,
look, and the you know, all this stuff, the bindings, the inlays, it all looks great, man.
Quite a few different colours. Got flame top options, burst options, but black with the gold hardware's always been popular.
And it looks great.
It does look very cool. I like that guitar. That is a £450 guitar at the moment. Links will be below.
Yes.
Moving on. Do you want to do some tones, and then I will...
Yes, do that. Okay, so this is just a 3-way switch, not like the next model up.
Pulley.
Nah,
but... This isn't a split. Remember it does that weird... I don't
displacement
know we've
thing.
ever really... No. This is a high-pass filter. The phasing thing was on the Deera model.
Yeah.
So this... I'll be honest with you. I think this is trying to do that kind of slightly thinner, more single coil sound.
Yeah.
But it's not doing it via a split or a tap. This is now doing it via a... It says it provides more prominent highs and a tighter bass end without the decreased volume and added hum that comes with conventional coil splitting.
Okay, so here it is in on the neck. More clear, isn't it?
I remember doing this when we did the actual Revstar video. You can go watch that up there. And actually kind of going, I understand what you're trying to do, but I actually just think a conventional coil split does a better job of just giving you two different sounds.
I like that. Let's try gain lead.
Yes,
just
gain it up.
I want to play Chris Bucklicks on this. But
funny you should say that. So we're obviously on the ESP before the LTD. We talked about, it's got a plethora of different artists use that brand over the years.
Yeah.
Revstar, a little bit newer. Chris Buck has probably been the guy that you're most familiar with playing a Revstar. He plays a beautiful gold-coloured one.
And this is a great guitar, man.
So, specs of that, again, things to make it a little bit different. So it's a chambered body, right? So the body is hollowed out to change the tone of it and decrease the weight of it. Still, mahogany neck, a little bit like the other one. Still a set neck, right? It's not a bolt-in neck, is it? Yep, so same kind of idea. Although the heel joint is a little bit more sort of contoured than a traditional guitar would have. A satin, you might see this in the light, so gloss finished body, but satin finished neck. And there's a reason for that as well, is that the gloss that you might typically get on the back of something like the LTD can get a little sticky under sweaty fingers.
Sticky.
Their own design, Alnico humbuckers. We talked about the push-pull thingy. It's the same scale length as the LTD, so again, that's slightly shorter scale.
I like this. I like it a lot.
Slightly curvier radius, so a 12-inch fretboard radius, still with the rosewood board, and basically pretty much identical bridge, isn't it, to the LTD? So a a sort of traditional bridge there. Interesting, actually, the distance between the tailpiece and the bridge looks a little bit more on the Yamaha than the LTD.
Does it?
Does it? Well, maybe it's marginal. Maybe it's an optical illusion.
Yeah. I think
that'll change the break angle of the string over the bridge and will again slightly affect the tension and stuff. But anyway, so that's the Yamaha. Those are $399, like Pete said.
I think,
amazing value.
Right?
I think I said before, probably been one of the best-selling guitar ranges of the year.
It's a wonderful guitar.
Lots of different colours, and actually, if you're sort of thinking, I like that, but actually I've got a little bit more money to spend than maybe this Shootout is, there's a standard version for about $650, and then there's like a Japanese deluxe, can't remember what they call that version, but that's about £1,500.
But I've got the 650 version, and it's absolutely, for the money, it's incredible.
Yeah, some great colours. But when you get up to the standard version above, you've got a P90 options as well.
Yeah.
So, what do we have now, Monsieur Peter?
We have a Squier Contemporary Jazzmaster. Oh, sorry, Jaguar. That's so difficult to say, isn't it? Because it looks like a Jaguar and a Jazzmaster in one go.
It does. Well, it's a blend, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really.
So, contemporary about this guitar, I think, because it doesn't have the trim system as the Jaguar or Jazzmaster's got on,
and
but it's got and two humbuckers, and it's not a string through. So
it's cheaper as well than the Revstar, so that isn't the cheapest one.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I seem to remember something about this being different as well, so we'll have to just figure that out. So we were talking about the whole system thing here. It's a volume, then it's a tone, standard, three-way selector, so neck, middle, both of them, and then the bridge. And then this is a split, so it'll split the humbuckers. And this is a phase switch, sort of. It doesn't do much if you are in either of these positions, but in the middle, it should make it somewhat quacky. Is that the word for it? But anyway, let's.
I mean, it's quite interesting because if you look at a traditional Jaguar, it's covered in
switches and
stuff like that. So they kind of the switches on the original Jaguar don't do what these do, but I think what they're trying to do is kind of just have that nod towards a guitar that's got like switches on it to do stuff.
Yes.
But not necessarily what a traditional one is. I've got to say as well, the colours on the contemporary stuff is great.
Isn't it? And the necks are great. The neck feels, I mean, the neck is magnificent on these guitars. Just the eagle eye, look at this, it's just a piece of plastic that's sitting on here. It's just, it's not broken or anything. So. I mean, it's marginal, isn't it? Marginal, Reggie, marginal.
Some of the settings make a bigger difference than others, don't they?
And if there's a different sound, if you use some more soundscapey stuff, you might get some different stuff out of it. You know, but there's a lot of tones in the guitar.
Ganache. Yeah. Extreme Ganache amp.
I think Oz will be proud.
Yeah, if you follow the Andertons channel like crazy, Oz has been behind the scenes for about a year, but we let him do some videos recently, and he's bang into the whole sort of Jaguar thing. He's a much younger player than we are.
All that stuff.
But so some of the things on the Jaguar again that are stand out, a little bit different. So the Jaguar is the shortest scale length,
is it?
probably of any electric guitar really. So they're coming in at 24-inch scale length. So again, it's normal tuning. It's a grown-up body shape. You know, it's not like supposed to be a kid's guitar or anything. But the shorter scale length makes the strings much slacker when they're tuned to pitch, and that gives it a sort of a different.
Excuse me.
Pardon you. I remember Rob Chapman used to describe it as like a hoopy sound, almost like a rubber bandy kind of sound, which is quite a good description of it, I think.
Where's the slacker? Where's that come from? What film is that from?
Slacker.
There's 3 films in the series, and the guy in there plays guitar.
Oh wow!
And they go back to school.
They go back to
and he called him Slagger.
Oh, not no, I've got no idea now. I thought you said Bill and Ted's or something.
No, Back to the Future.
Is it Back to the Future?
You know, where the bald guy comes in and goes, McFly, Slagger!
You've got a real attitude problem, McFly. You're a slacker.
Like that. Anyway.
Right. So again, different colours, which perhaps we've shown on the screen already.
Yeah.
So this is a slightly different construction though. So this is now a poplar body, so different hardwood for the body, a bolt-on neck design with a maple neck and a laurel fingerboard.
Roasted maple neck as well. Good.
It has still 22 frets again. It's classed as a C shape, so again of a relatively contemporary shape.
It is,
It's that satin finish, so nice and fast feeling. Atomic Squier pickups on them, passive pickups. We talked about the switching. And again, basically it's the same bridge and tailpiece again. But again, look at, they're all different.
This is a long...
So the further away it is, the shallower, if you like, the break angle is. And again, it affects the tension on the strings.
You can actually hear, the length different, listen. No, but they got different tones.
There are some harmonic kind of overtones that you get from that.
Yeah.
So there's a few different colours again in this range, and some of the prices are slightly different for different colours. But that particular one at this moment is $349.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm Yeah, they're great guitars.
I like that. I'm sort of
The
always been a
colour's
bit of a
great,
sucker
isn't it?
for that kind of Jaguar thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Next,
to the
I've just
planes.
noticed as well, every single guitar so far, except for the one that I'm holding, is just 2 humbuckers, isn't it? So I guess from a variety point of view, they're all going to have that kind of slightly fatter, slightly heavier kind of tone.
Yeah. This one we know.
But anyway, we didn't pick these. You did.
You did.
Blame yourselves.
Yeah, or blame the people who picked them.
Or if you didn't vote, you're one of those terrible people that doesn't vote but then complains about the outcome of everything. Vote in these voting things.
Vote.
And then
Vote.
if you vote and it's not
Then
the
you can
outcome
moan.
you wanted, then you can moan. But if you didn't vote, you can't moan.
Just before I start playing, 3...
3 pushy pulleys.
Yeah, this one doesn't. So, but we could go to that in a minute. Again, 3-way selector switch, 2 humbuckers, higher pitch. It's very long, this.
Well,
It feels long.
It's funny you say that because, of course, from a scale length perspective, the SG actually isn't that long.
No, but
it's the relative position of where the bridge is on the body. Everything is sort of shoved slightly more left, isn't it?
Every time I see one of these, this bit here, it makes me want to play this. See that?
That's exactly
if you
right.
went like that.
Ooh. Anyway, look. So before Pete starts the playing,
Yes.
let me just quickly explain. The switching system on this is derived from a model out of the US catalogue, the US Gibson catalogue. I think was also called the Gibson SG Modern.
Yeah.
But
I think we
basically,
did a video on that.
it's the 2 volume controls can be pulled out to coil split the pickup. So that's kind of cool. So actually, in the middle position, you can have 1 split and 1 full fat if you want to.
Which you couldn't have with...
You couldn't do any of the other ones.
Any of these ones,
yeah,
no.
So far.
Yeah.
The tone knob that switches out it reverses the wiring of the neck humbucker, and anybody who's into the sort of Peter Green thing will know there's a sort of an urban myth around how he got his tones by having his guitar mistakenly repaired. But Pete will sort of demo that, kind of like how that sounds. But yes, into lots of tones, and I'll give you the spec after Pete has done.
Split. In the middle position with the bridge split and the neck not split. That's interesting, isn't it? So here's the neck, here's the neck split. It's fat when it's not split. And here's that Peter Green tone. There it is, in the middle position, it's that quacky. Yeah,
that's kind of what that's why everybody isn't sure whether or not it was a mistake or not, because that was never a thing on original Gibsons. No. And it's a simple mistake, easy mistake to make if you were messing around with the wiring, because you just got your 2 wires off your humbucker and someone's just resoldered them back on the opposite round, and then all of a sudden when you use the 2 pickups together, instead of it feeling like the 2 pickups are working together to fatten and increase the tone, all of a sudden now it sounds like the pickups are working against each other to get like a...
So...
I don't think Peter Green wrote that riff.
No, I don't think so.
Anyway, sorry.
We'll gain it up. We'll put the Halcyon and the Dane on, because they're cheap pedals.
Man,
enjoyable
that sounds
guitar.
great.
It sounds great.
So now,
it's enjoyable.
Some quite interesting different features on this. This is a great example actually of a guitar that perhaps first impressions are it doesn't look that different to a regular SG. But let's get into this. All right, so
do it.
It is a mahogany body, but we've now got the AAA flame top. Top basically.
Flame top.
Top.
Flame top,
Gloss
top.
finish. Mahogany neck. So again, it's all relatively as you would expect.
Yeah.
However, it's got an asymmetrical slim taper contoured heel. So the neck is not symmetrically kind of carved. It's slightly fatter on the thumb side, slightly thinner on the sort of the finger side.
Yeah.
It has a slightly flatter radius than you would get on the traditional one, but not massively. It's like a 12-inch radius. The heel joint is contoured in a way that the traditional one isn't. If we flip it over and have a look at the heel joint, it has a sort of a slightly different contour to the traditional one.
Yeah.
Medium jumbo, 24 frets. That's all relatively regular.
24?
24. What else have we got? That's 20
more than
here?
I need.
Pro Bucker 2 and Pro Bucker 3 humbuckers.
And they're great humbuckers, aren't they?
Yeah, with all the pushy stuff that we talked about.
Yeah. Lots of guitar for the money, I would assume.
I always think as well, I don't know what it is about when you hear an SG versus a Les Paul, you know, a lot of the core components are often the same, you know, same humbuckers, mahogany body, all that kind of stuff, set neck, and yet the SG always has a slightly more barky kind of tone, doesn't
That's
it?
the video we need to do.
What,
SG versus Les Paul.
I bet we have done that.
No, we haven't.
So long ago.
We've never done it. We haven't.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
$499 is the price, so you know it's within our budget. Good guitar.
Good
We'll go
guitar.
next.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's much more poking in it. I'll take it that's because of the...
In the opening jam, every time I put that on with all the same settings, everything else, it was feeding back, and it was substantially louder than all the other guitars.
And why is it feeding back here, Lee, then?
Well, I just think it's so much hotter, so whatever
hollow,
gain you've got, and it's semi-hollow.
Semi-hollow, but with no hole in it, so... That's interesting, isn't it? That's a cool guitar, man.
Do you want to do some gain tones? And I'll give you a spec?
Yeah. Let me do some gain tones. I'll put both first a Dane just to ease it in gently. That sounds good. There's the Halcyon. Spicy, isn't it? It's nasally. You can hear that. But
that's the one I feel is.
Oh, hang on! I hadn't turned all the way up. Oh, did I?
That's the most Marmite one here. That's the one I look at, and my brain goes, "Oh, I like that the most." Oh no, I don't. I like it the least. No, I don't. I like it the most. No, I like it the least.
Yeah.
It's basically like imagine a cross between a 335 and an offset. So it's like a melting offset 335 vibe.
Yeah.
So the specs of this is actually, I think, the cheapest one, possibly because at the moment that particular colour's in our sale, and it's only about 300 quid. But I think they're a bit dearer than that when they're not in the sale. So it is a semi-hollow body, but with no F-holes. So it's what's called a sealed semi-hollow body.
Seal semi.
I don't know who used to do that back in the day. The BB King is the same kind of idea. It's like
Yes,
a,
it's
like a
yeah,
335 with no... that should help with the feedback that you often get with an F-hold guitar.
Yeah.
It's a maple body, laminate maple body.
Okay.
Active pickups, which is the only one here with active pickups. So normally speaking, you would associate active pickups with being higher output, more of a gain thing. But that's not. You know, some people, I think that's just purely and simply because that's mostly what you see active players using.
Yeah.
They're not designed for metal or anything like that. I just think they've become popular with that. They're low noise, low background noise kind of pickups. It's a slightly flatter radius than a traditional Fender would be, so 12-inch radius.
Yeah.
I quite like the finish. Got like a satin neck. They put a heavy tint on the neck to give it that sort of roasted feel. I love the two-tone element of the headstock.
This is great, isn't it?
Very, very
I could see Dave Grohl playing something like this.
Could you?
And then
Shout.
I can absolutely see that.
25.5-inch scale length. I don't think I mentioned that on the SG. This is a traditional 24 3/4 inch. So actually, that's again very much like a Strat or a Tele kind of vibe to the neck. In terms of its pickup switching, it's the simplest one of them all. It's just a 3-way selector with a tone and a volume. There's no pushy-pulley or anything like that. And there are some other colours in this model. In fact, I think there's a completely different but similarly priced version of the Starcaster. So you can get ones with F-holes. You can
the traditional
get
ones, right?
Yes, you can get them with F-holes as well if you want to.
That's a great guitar,
I don't think they have the regular passive pickups on them.
But I tell you what, when you have a clean tone, you can hear that it's much more... There's more top end sizzling in the background of those. But I like it. I think it's a great guitar, just because of the shape and the headstock.
And last but not least, I almost was sitting on my lap the entire time. Well, needlessly.
I would like to sit on your lap the entire time, but the guitar was there, so
wouldn't you? It's good to hear a guitar with 2 single coil pickups on it.
Yes.
It's like, I almost feel it's
yeah.
It is a very different sound. It is not better or worse, just different.
It is different, and I like it.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there. Do you
No,
want to do
fine,
some gain, and then I'll give you a quick rundown on the...
See what the Dane says to this bridge pickup. Yeah, there's a lot to be said about this combination of pickups.
So obviously inspired by a Telecaster shaped guitar, but that's where the kind of comparisons kind of end. So it's a mahogany body, whereas Telecasters would normally be alder or ash or some other kind of hardwood, but mahogany there. Bound, which is pretty. It has a pretty traditional radius, actually, sort of 9.5-inch radius, 25.5-inch scale length, that kind of thing. The neck is bolted on with a slightly recessed heel joint, so a little bit more access than you might get on a very traditional guitar. And you've got the spoon cuts on
both sides,
the cutaway, and the belly cut on the guitar. So again, the whole thing has a slightly sleeker, slimmer. You've got the the sort of the drop top kind of vibe there, and the reverse headstock. The pickups. The bridge is a pretty traditional Tele-style bridge, so strung through the body, so you get that sort of slightly fatter tone. But whereas I guess on Telecasters throughout the ages, it was pretty common to see either a 2 single coil one or a single coil at the bridge with a humbucker at the neck.
Yeah.
It's only been in sort of more recent years, I think, that people have started experimenting with a P90 at the neck. And I think the balance is nice there because a P90 is still a single coil pickup.
Yeah.
So it doesn't go from like, loads of output to not enough output or whatever that you might find on when you mismatch the pickups. I just think it's just a nice combination.
Yeah.
So yes, they are. And the other nice thing which is a feature of all the Chapman standard range is the rolled fingerboard edges.
Nice
so
fingerboard, and the satin neck feels lovely.
Yeah, so it has
really
that nice kind of played-in vibe. Another, couple of different finishes, $499 price. So I think everything has come in under £500, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's better than I thought.
I like the name of these pickups. Well, I like the name specifically of the P90. It's called an Angry Mule.
An Angry Mule.
Angry Mule. Never stand behind an angry mule.
Never do that.
Come on then.
I'm just gonna. Sorry. Yeah, it's fat. I like it.
So, there you are, ladies and gents. I mean, I kind of feel like Mr. Pete. It's slightly irrelevant which one your favourite is because they're all good, and it's I think the whole objective of this video was.
I don't think we should pick our favourite ones here because there's not. Well,
I think don't you think there's a phase that every guitar player goes through, and some people come out the other side and go back, and other people don't. But where you just go, I just don't want a Strat, a Tele, or a Les Paul. I just want something different.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's what inspired the idea of this video. And there's millions of choices of things that aren't Strats, Teles, or Les Pauls.
Yeah.
But these are the 6.
I mean, if I had to pick one, I mean, this is a great guitar. It's what I would normally pick.
That's probably the closest to your go-to.
To my go-to.
Vibe,
so I think I would pick that one just because I have one of these, right? And I think this is too close to Les Paul for me. This is more usable for me.
You say that. The LTD EC-1000 is the go-to contemporary metal version of a Les Paul.
Yeah.
So it's just not what you would play.
It's not what I would pick.
Everything else, I think you might maybe you could even say the same about the SG.
Yeah, the SG. I mean, I don't have an SG, which is just.
But I think you'd buy a traditional SG.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely.
Whereas I do agree. I think I could see you playing.
That's too far out for me.
Do you see? I think that might be my favourite one, just visually, anyway.
Yeah, no, visually, yeah. I love the colour of that one.
Yeah.
Visually, actually, that one is fun. Because it's nothing you have at all. This is a little bit
great shout for if you're a Foo Fighters fan and you want to do Foo Fighters on a budget. It's like
you don't want to buy Trini Lopez for $7-8 grand or whatever.
That's a shout, and it is geared up to do that kind of heavy rock metal kind of thing.
And it's light to stand around rocking with when it's hanging all the way down here.
I think
there's no wrong guitar here.
No, I think what amazes me again is you sit here going, these are all under 500 quid. These are all. I mean, I know people might not say that's beginner level money. I know people might go a little bit cheaper for a beginner, but it's as musical instruments go. You want to buy a flute or a clarinet or a trumpet
violin.
or something, anything like that.
Smokes.
It's like 500 quid is good value, and these are all. None of these are like not semi-professional, right? I mean, these are all.
I think if you level up from an entry Squier Bullet or something, you can't go wrong with any of these. You want something a little bit more, with a little bit more.
And who doesn't just want more guitars?
Exactly.
Right.
As I said the other day, say why change the strings. I just say buy another guitar.
Do you know what? Okay, minor thing. One of my best friends is his little boy. It's his birthday this weekend, and he was like, "We're going to buy him a new guitar because they got him a guitar from here a couple of years ago."
Yeah. Was that the kid that came in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Little legend.
Good little player.
Yeah,
right? He's 9 basically on Sunday, and I sold him a Bullet Mustang, Squier Bullet Mustang, a couple of years ago because at 7 he was just too small for any of these things. Anyway, he really wanted a Les Paul, and I really wanted a new guitar, and he ended up buying an Epiphone Les Paul guitar. But I was like, what is it that you don't like about your Squier Mustang anymore? And he's like, well, it just feels like it's lost its smoothness and its slidiness and everything like that. And I'm like, when was the last time you changed the strings on it?
Yeah.
And he was like, I've never changed the strings on it. And I'm like, so many people buy a new guitar because they just don't realise that we... So anyway, so he bought the new guitar anyway. And then I restrung his Squier Mustang and I give it a bit of a polish and a tweak and I just give it back to him. And it was just like, it's like brand new again. Like, there you go.
Yeah, but that's what
for
it is,
£5.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like...
Yeah,
but anyway,
there's a lot to say
anyway,
about
we
that.
digress.
Yes. Thanks for watching.
Yes, please do. And subscribe, right? Because then you can be involved in the next vote. Yeah, you might
can
win
win
the
stuff.
Clon.
Yeah.
And maybe the next video you'll be watching will be one that you asked us to make.
Yeah.
So.
And again, as Lee said, if you didn't vote, don't complain. It's that simple.
See you next time. Bye-bye.